Some people carry darkness with them wherever they go, and their presence brings chaos, manipulation, and destruction into every relationship they touch. These individuals operate with a twisted moral compass that goes against everything good and decent in this world. They feed off negative energy and thrive when others around them are suffering or struggling. What makes this even more dangerous is that they often appear completely normal on the surface, making it incredibly difficult to spot them until significant damage has already been done. The truth is, satanic individuals don't always wear black clothes or have obvious symbols tattooed on their bodies. Instead, they blend into society and use sophisticated psychological tactics to control and harm the people around them. They target good-hearted individuals who trust easily and want to see the best in others. These predators know exactly how to exploit kindness and turn it into weakness. Understanding how to identify these dangerous people could be the difference between protecting yourself and your loved ones or becoming their next victim. The warning signs are there, but most people don't know what to look for. Today, we're going to expose the 5 most reliable indicators that someone in your circle might be operating under satanic influence. This information is absolutely crucial for your safety and well-being. Do not skip any part of this video because each sign builds upon the previous one. If you want to save time, watch at 1.5 or 2 times speed rather than jumping around, because missing even one detail could leave you vulnerable to these manipulative tactics. Now here's where things get really interesting, and honestly, it's almost funny how predictable these people become once you know what to look for. Think about the last time someone told you they were helping you, but somehow everything got worse. That's not a coincidence, my friend. That's sign number 1 out of 5. These individuals have this weird superpower where they can take any good situation and flip it upside down faster than a pancake on Sunday morning. It's like they have a built-in GPS that only gives directions to disaster town. When everyone else is trying to build something beautiful, they're busy tearing it down. When people are trying to heal relationships, they're there with their little toolkit of chaos, making sure everything falls apart. The crazy part is how they justify everything they do. Normal people feel bad when they hurt others. These folks? They'll convince themselves and everyone around them that destroying your happiness was actually the right thing to do. They'll tell you that ruining your reputation was tough love. They'll say that breaking up your family was necessary for growth. It's like watching someone set fire to a garden and then claim they were just helping the flowers get more sunlight. Listen carefully to how they talk about good things. When you mention prayer, they'll make jokes. When you talk about helping others, they'll find reasons why it's stupid. When you share something pure and innocent, they'll find a way to make it sound dirty or wrong. It's almost like they're allergic to anything that comes from a place of love or goodness. Here's what really gets me, though. These people can't help themselves. They have to corrupt whatever they touch. Put them in a room full of happy people, and within an hour someone will be crying. Invite them to a peaceful gathering, and suddenly there's drama everywhere. It's like they carry a storm cloud wherever they go, and they actually enjoy watching people get rained on. The most dangerous part is how they twist your words. You'll say something beautiful about forgiveness, and they'll somehow turn it into a reason why you should hate someone. You'll talk about being kind to others, and they'll make it sound like you're being weak and stupid. They take every good intention you have and run it through their backwards thinking machine until it comes out looking like something evil. Watch how they react when confronted with genuine goodness. Show them a video of someone helping homeless people, and they'll find something wrong with it. Tell them about a miracle that happened in your life, and they'll explain why it was probably fake. Share a beautiful scripture or spiritual teaching, and they'll either mock it or try to twist its meaning into something dark and negative. Now you know that friend who somehow always seems more energetic after you've had a really bad day? The one who calls you right when you're going through your toughest moments, not to help, but to get all the juicy details. Well, buckle up, because we're about to dive into sign number 2 out of 5, and this one might hit close to home for many of you. There was this woman I knew who had this incredible ability to show up right when people were at their lowest points. At first, everyone thought she was so caring and compassionate. She'd rush over with tissues and tea, ready to listen for hours. But here's what nobody noticed at the time. After spending time with her during your crisis, you'd somehow feel even worse than before. Not better, worse. And she'd leave your house practically glowing with energy. These emotional vampires have turned draining people into an art form. They don't just take your energy accidentally. They deliberately create situations that will give them more negative emotions to feed on. They'll start arguments between friends just so they can sit back and watch the drama unfold. They'll share your secrets at the worst possible moment, then act shocked when everything explodes. They'll give you advice that they know will make your problems worse, then act concerned when you follow it. The scary thing is how good they are at making themselves seem essential to your life. They'll manufacture crisis after crisis, then position themselves as your only source of comfort. They'll isolate you from other people who might actually help you, then make you feel like you can't survive without them. Before you know it, you're trapped in this sick cycle where they create your problems and then pretend to be your solution. Here's how you can spot this pattern. Pay attention to how you feel after spending time with certain people. Do you feel uplifted and encouraged? Or do you feel drained and depressed? Do they celebrate your victories? Or do they find ways to bring you down when things are going well? Do they help you solve problems? Or do they somehow make every problem bigger and more complicated? Watch how they react when good things happen to you. A real friend will be genuinely happy for your success. These energy vampires will either ignore your good news, find something wrong with it, or immediately shift the conversation back to something negative. They can't stand it when you're happy because happiness doesn't feed them. They need your pain, your fear, your anger, and your sadness to feel alive. The most twisted part is how they use your own insecurities against you. They'll study you like a science project, learning exactly which buttons to push to make you feel worthless. They'll bring up your past mistakes right when you're feeling confident. They'll remind you of your failures right when you're about to try something new. It's like they have a manual on how to destroy your self-esteem, and they follow it religiously. If you're getting value from this information, and it's helping you see things more clearly, smash that subscribe button if you haven't already. Trust me, you're going to want to catch every single video we put out, because this knowledge could literally save your relationships and your sanity. Now, here's something that will absolutely blow your mind. And honestly, once you see this pattern, you'll never unsee it. Sign number 3 out of 5 is so obvious that it's almost shocking how many people miss it completely. Picture this scene. Someone mentions they're going to church on Sunday, and suddenly the whole energy in the room shifts. There's this one person who can't help but make a sarcastic comment or roll their eyes. Someone brings up prayer, and they immediately have to change the subject or make it uncomfortable for everyone. A beautiful spiritual song comes on, and they start complaining about how boring or stupid it sounds. This isn't just preference, folks. This is something much deeper and more sinister. These individuals have a physical reaction to anything sacred or holy. I'm talking about actual discomfort, like they're allergic to goodness itself. They'll squirm when someone quotes scripture. They'll get agitated when people talk about faith or spiritual experiences. They'll find excuses to leave the room when prayers are being said. It's like watching someone who's afraid of water trying to sit through a swimming lesson. But here's where it gets really crafty. They don't just avoid spiritual things. They actively work to destroy other people's faith and spiritual connections. They'll plant seeds of doubt in your mind about your beliefs. They'll tell you stories about how religion is just a tool to control people. They'll mock your spiritual experiences and make you feel stupid for believing in anything beyond what you can see and touch. The really dangerous ones are smart about it, though. They won't come right out and attack your faith directly, because that would be too obvious. Instead, they'll chip away at it slowly, like termites eating through the foundation of a house. They'll ask innocent questions that are designed to make you doubt. They'll share articles or videos that are meant to shake your spiritual foundation. They'll introduce you to ideas and philosophies that sound smart, but are actually designed to pull you away from anything good and pure. Watch how they talk about people who have strong faith. They'll describe religious people as weak, stupid, or brainwashed. They'll make fun of anyone who lives by moral principles. They'll celebrate when religious leaders fall from grace, as if it proves that all spiritual people are hypocrites. They take joy in anything that makes faith look bad or stupid. Here's what's really twisted. These same people who mock prayer and spiritual practices are usually deeply involved in dark spiritual practices themselves. They might be into tarot cards, witchcraft, occult symbols, or other practices that tap into dark spiritual forces. They'll tell you that your faith is silly while they're literally consulting demons for guidance. The hypocrisy is staggering. The physical signs are unmistakable once you know what to look for. They get uncomfortable around crosses, religious symbols, or even people who radiate genuine spiritual peace. They'll avoid churches, religious bookstores, or anywhere that has a strong spiritual atmosphere. Some of them will actually get headaches or feel sick in these places. It's like darkness can't stand to be around light. If this information is opening your eyes and helping you protect yourself from these dangerous influences, consider clicking that thanks button below this video to support the channel and help us keep bringing you this life-changing content. Every bit of support helps us reach more people who need to hear these truths. Now let's continue with sign number 4. This next sign is perhaps the most heartbreaking and devastating of them all, and it's something that should serve as a massive lesson that we can never afford to take lightly. Sign number 4 out of 5 will literally change how you look at the people in your life forever. There's a trail of broken hearts, shattered dreams, and destroyed lives that follows these individuals wherever they go. It's not just 1 or 2 failed relationships. It's a pattern that stretches back years, sometimes decades. Everywhere they've been, people are worse off than they were before. Every family they've touched has more problems than they had before. Every workplace they've left is more toxic than it was before they arrived. This isn't coincidence. This isn't bad luck. This is deliberate, calculated destruction that they orchestrate with surgical precision. They know exactly how to find the cracks in people's relationships and hammer wedges into them until everything falls apart. They study families like military strategists study battlefields, looking for weaknesses they can exploit to turn people against each other. Watch what happens to good people after they spend significant time around these individuals. That kind neighbor who used to help everyone suddenly becomes suspicious and mean. That generous friend who would give you the shirt off their back starts acting selfish and cruel. That loving parent who raised their children with patience and wisdom suddenly becomes harsh and angry. It's like watching someone slowly poison a beautiful garden until all the flowers die. The most devastating part is how they target the strongest relationships first. They can't stand to see people who truly love each other, so they make it their mission to destroy those bonds. They'll whisper poison in one person's ear about the other. They'll create misunderstandings that grow into major conflicts. They'll plant seeds of jealousy, suspicion, and resentment that grow like weeds until they choke out all the love that was there before. Here's what makes this so evil. They don't just break people's relationships. They break people's ability to trust and love again. They don't just destroy marriages. They destroy people's faith in marriage itself. They don't just ruin friendships. They make people afraid to open their hearts to new friends. The damage they cause ripples out for years, sometimes generations. Pay attention to the moral transformation that happens in their presence. People who used to have strong principles start making compromises. People who used to stand up for what's right start looking the other way when wrong things happen. People who used to be honest start telling little lies that grow into big deceptions. It's like they carry a moral virus that infects everyone around them. The saddest part is watching how they normalize destruction and toxicity. They make chaos seem normal. They make cruelty seem acceptable. They make dysfunction seem like just part of life. Before you know it, People are living in environments that would have horrified them before, but now they think it's just how things are supposed to be. This is why recognizing these patterns is so crucial. This is why you cannot afford to ignore these warning signs. Every day you allow someone like this to remain in your inner circle is another day they have to destroy everything good in your life. Every moment you spend defending their behavior is another moment they have to corrupt your own moral compass. The cost of ignoring these signs is measured in broken families, destroyed friendships, and shattered dreams that might never be repaired. At this point, I need you to take a moment and think about the most helpful, wise, and spiritually enlightened person you know. Now imagine finding out that everything they showed you was a carefully crafted lie designed to manipulate and control you. This brings us to sign number 5 out of 5, and this one might be the most dangerous of all because it's the hardest to detect. Have you ever met someone who seemed almost too good to be true? They always had the perfect advice for every situation. They quoted scripture like they had memorized the entire Bible. They talked about love, compassion, and spiritual growth with such eloquence that you felt like you were in the presence of a modern-day saint. They seemed to understand your deepest struggles and offered exactly the kind of guidance you desperately needed to hear. But then something didn't feel right. Maybe you noticed that their private actions didn't match their public words. Maybe you caught them in small lies that grew bigger over time. Maybe you realized that despite all their beautiful talk about love and healing, the people closest to them seemed miserable and broken. Maybe you started feeling more confused and lost the more you followed their guidance, even though everything they said sounded so wise and loving. This is the false light deception, and it's the most sophisticated weapon in their arsenal. These individuals study genuine spiritual teachers and healers so they can mimic their language and behavior perfectly. They learn to speak about spiritual concepts with authority and conviction. They master the art of appearing humble while secretly being filled with pride. They become experts at offering comfort and hope while secretly working to steal both from their victims. The gap between who they pretend to be and who they really are is staggering. In public, they're champions of justice and equality. In private, they're cruel and controlling. In front of others, they preach about forgiveness and second chances. Behind closed doors, they hold grudges forever and never forget a slight. They talk about the importance of truth and honesty, while their entire existence is built on deception and manipulation. Here's what makes this so dangerous. When their true nature finally gets exposed, they don't take responsibility or show genuine remorse. Instead, they flip the script and make themselves the victim. Suddenly, everyone who tried to hold them accountable becomes the villain. Everyone who speaks up about their behavior becomes the problem. They'll use the same spiritual language they used to deceive people to now defend their deceptions. They'll say things like, "Nobody's perfect," or "We all make mistakes," or "Judge not lest ye be judged," to deflect accountability. They'll claim that people are persecuting them because they're doing God's work. They'll twist scripture and spiritual principles to make their critics look like the real enemies of truth and love. It's masterful manipulation disguised as spiritual wisdom. The real tragedy is how this destroys people's ability to recognize genuine spiritual guidance. When someone has been deceived by a false light, they often become suspicious of all spiritual teaching and guidance. They lose their ability to trust their own spiritual instincts. They become cynical about anyone who speaks about faith, love, or higher principles. The false light doesn't just deceive people, it blinds them to the real light when it comes. So how do you tell the difference? Real spiritual light produces real spiritual fruit. Genuine spiritual teachers and guides make people's lives better in measurable ways. Their private character matches their public message. Their families and closest relationships are healthy and strong. They take responsibility when they make mistakes. They don't need to defend themselves by attacking others. They point people toward truth and freedom, not toward dependency on them. Now that your eyes have been opened to these 5 unmistakable signs, you have a choice to make. You can take this knowledge and use it to protect yourself and your loved ones, or you can go back to being blind to the predators who are actively hunting for their next victims. And let me be perfectly clear about something. If you choose to ignore what you've learned today, if you decide to keep these dangerous people in your life after everything we've discussed, then you're not just being naive. You're being foolish beyond measure. The immediate step you need to take is simple but not easy. Distance yourself from anyone who displays these characteristics. This isn't about being mean or unforgiving. This is about survival. You wouldn't keep a poisonous snake as a pet just because it looked pretty, and you shouldn't keep poisonous people in your life just because they seem charming or helpful. Build your spiritual defenses starting today. Prayer, meditation, studying sacred texts, surrounding yourself with genuinely good people. These aren't just nice suggestions. They're your armor against the darkness that wants to consume everything beautiful in your life. Trust that voice inside you that whispers warnings when something doesn't feel right. Your intuition is your early warning system, and it's usually right. Here's the truth about good versus evil. Light always wins, but only when people are brave enough to turn it on. You now have the knowledge to recognize the darkness and the tools to fight it. The question is whether you'll have the courage to use them. The suggested video that's about to pop up on your screen isn't random. The algorithm knows exactly what you need to watch next to continue building your defenses against these predators. Click on it immediately, because your protection depends on staying one step ahead of those who want to destroy you. Your future self will thank you for taking action today instead of waiting until it's too late.